This is Travis Wayne Goodsill, and I'm coming to you live recorded from my laptop instead of my computer because I realized, hey, I have a disc player or disc drive that I can plug in. I got it specially so that I can try to convert Blu-ray discs, and which I will be using for the Blu-ray discs with the program that I bought yesterday. So my other computer now is using the disk drive so that it's flat, not this, so that it can read the discs. And okay, so in matters of copyright, next weekend is General Conference, and General Conference always has that disclaimer: we own the copyrights, and it's not to be distributed without our express permission and crap like that. No. That's an attempt to silence people and keep people from the rules of copyright. In regards to copyright, when you produce a video, a movie, a book, a painting, those copyrights automatically are yours just by being the creator of the work of art. And so, for example, I make books and sell them through Amazon. The copyright is mine, and people have to buy them on Amazon in order to have their own personal copy. But if I were to make it available as a PDF for free on my website, it's now public domain, and anybody is welcome to download my PDF version of the book. It's a different formatting. It's not a book, but it is a computer file that is accessible from your computers, and fully free for you to utilize, because you had fair access to it, because I made it available for free. If it's a book you've bought of mine, because it's your own property, you can have a scanner and digitize it yourself so that you can have access to it. That's up to you. The only thing you can't do is, because others have not paid for my Amazon book, they cannot obtain a free copy as if public domain. They too must purchase it in order to obtain it. Unless I make it available as a free PDF on my website, then everybody can have their own free copy, and anybody can have a copy and distribute it freely to others. They just can't take credit for authorship, regardless of being public domain. So, for example, all pictures that are on the internet through Google search pictures, those are all public domain, and they're free for me to utilize for book covers, for example, or thumbnails, or even inserts within my videos on YouTube. Because again, YouTube is social media. It's public domain. And so if you guys know of a downloader source, you're welcome to download my videos. They're in the public domain. They're free. YouTube does have ways of having you pay for stuff. They have the YouTube channel. When Cobra Kai came out, I had to subscribe as a member to that channel so that I could watch Cobra Kai. And it's coming out later in April, the second season. So I'll again go back into that channel just so that I can watch the channel or watch the show. For me, because I'm a paid member, I can obtain a copy. They are trying to prevent us from copying, not being able to record from your screen and stuff like that, and making the recording a higher file size than if you were to convert a disk on a converter program. So yeah, there's all sorts of attempts to prevent us from our rights. Nevertheless, I don't have the right to take something that I bought and give the whole thing freely to others. So I can't buy the TV series or a movie and upload it on my channel for you in the public domain. That would be overstepping my bounds because you haven't paid for it. You don't have public rights to the product. You have to buy it. And so with the church and conference, they don't realize that when they make it available on YouTube, when they make it available on their website, you don't have to pay to get on their website. It's public domain. So the conference on the internet, it's all public domain. Everybody is free to obtain their own copy and share it with others. That's a good thing for the church. You want people to share and obtain their own copy to watch it over and over again. But the thing that the church doesn't like is when people criticize them. And that's why they do that little copyright false disclaimer. They've made it public. You know, back in the days where it was only on satellite, it was exclusive to satellite. And so stakes would record it so that those like the elderly who were unable to get to conference to watch it or get to the stake center to sit and watch it, as was the case in California, we didn't get to watch it on TV. We had to go to our stake center to watch conference. And so then it was private, and nobody was allowed to obtain their own copy other than stakes, and for the express purpose of keeping it within the stake, and it was not supposed to be duplicated so that members can have their own copies. It was in the library to check out and such. But now the church has made it public, and it's now fair game for anyone and everyone throughout the entire world because it's on the internet. And so the copyright laws do not apply to the church's material anymore. And as a result, guys like me can now criticize the video and do video versions. Now, if the church wants to violate the copyright laws and communicate with YouTube, for example, YouTube complies. And I've expressed that frustration with you, as public domain information And even I'm not taking material that has to be bought and redistributing it. I'm doing a commentary using clips. That's fully within copyright acceptance. But YouTube is caving in to these companies who are wanting the copyright laws changed to deny us our rights for product ownership and public domain use. And so that's a problem. And so if the church wants to violate those laws as well, they'd have to take down their copyright, the disclosure. Well, they'd keep their copyright claim and deny anybody uploading any portion of their conference talks on YouTube. But like I said, it's freely available on YouTube. You don't have to pay to watch conference anymore. It's now on their website channel. It's free to watch conference. It's public domain. They are not asking for you to pay for it anymore. And so YouTube would be violating our copyright access to public domain information if the church were to come to them and say, block people's videos who reproduce any tiny portion of our stuff, which means they would be attacking critics for the most part. And even those who are faithful Mormons who want to spread the gospel by sharing a clip that they like the most. Why did the church block me? That's not nice. I trusted the church. They betrayed me. And so, yeah, that's how copyright works. Now, as you can tell, it's being violated. Because movies especially don't like people obtaining their own copy. They're trying to do away with discs. They want to go to this online streaming thing that you have to pay for each and every single time you want to watch. And deny people to record it even. So can't do that, guys. If we buy it, we need to be able to obtain our own copy because we bought it. And so I had an issue with one of my public domain pictures because it was a picture of a painting. Now it's the one with all of the presidents of the church in the Salt Lake Temple, all posing for what would appear to be a photograph, but it was a painting. And the artist noticed that I was using the picture of his painting, and he had contacted me through Amazon and demanded that I acknowledge him as the artist. Because the public domain picture did not identify who the artist was. And besides, it's public domain. I don't need to share who the artist is. Public domain, there's like billions of pictures out there. And they don't have the artist on there. And so when it comes up and you see maybe subject to copyright restrictions, no, it's not, because it's in the public domain. And so Google is even violating copyright conditions by denying people to have a copy of the picture. And if you don't know how to obtain copies of the picture, all you do is right-click, save as, put it in the file, and you can even rename it if you want. But it's yours, free, because it's in the public domain. And so those who are actual photographers who don't want their work in the public domain and want people to pay for their photographs, yes, they have their website, or they have a business that you have to contact, and then you have to go through the process of paying. There are those like that. Galleries, for example, and museums. You have to go to their site and pay for the individual print. But once it's public domain, as long as the person did not steal, I don't, well, yeah, I guess you can purchase the product, scan it, and then put it out publicly. That would be wrong of that one person. For us to obtain it, we don't know that it's been stolen because it's in the public domain. And so we're not held responsible if we obtain a free copy that was on the public domain. And so that's why it's important to understand when I talking about handbook number 1, for example. The church does not want that public. It's not. They claim it's not copyrighted, but it is copyrighted, and they put the copyright in there because it's not a published material. But once you compose it, it's copyrighted automatically. You're the owner, operator of the product. But somebody had obtained a copy and digitized it and put it out on the internet. That's why I'm saying get your copy as quick as you can before the church finds out and takes it down. Because we're not supposed to have a copy, but because of somebody's criminal activity, we have access to that. And so we can't be held responsible. It's the person who put it on the internet is responsible, and the site for that product can have it reported and taken down as a result. So there is that backup feature on the internet itself, which is why I'm saying get your copy now. The older ones of the handbook 1, they're also on the internet, and because the church did a new edition, all the old editions now fall from copyright protected status. And so yes, those are public domain now because there's no protection for them with the church, because the church no longer uses those. They're no longer subject to copyright protections. And so obtaining a copy of those and putting them on the internet, perfectly fine. That's where archive.org comes in. Is archive.org has all of the old publications that are no longer subject to copyright, and you can go to their site, find an older document that's no longer under copyright, and download a digital PDF version of it. You can obtain that copy. So all of Budge's works, I don't know why we still publish his works anymore, but his older editions are available on archive.org, for example, as well as others in regards to Egyptian and all that stuff. So archive.org is public domain. You don't have to pay for it. You just have to, well, there are some that say you can borrow the version, and then you have to pay the particular company that's letting you borrow it. Those are the exceptions, of course. But the rest, if you don't need to borrow, public domain. And then there's some that have Tor. But yeah, PDF is what you want to look for. So and so yes, with conference I will be doing a live commentary, and because somebody was criminal and posted the handbook, I'll still go over it, even when the church takes it down, if they even take it down. It may still be up there. But the temple text, I got a hold of the temple text too, even though they say do not tell the secrets of the temple because they're sacred and we don't want people to know about it. And it's not the actual text information that they're concerned about, it's the names, signs, and tokens that can get you into the celestial kingdom. Because again, the church has been fooled by Brigham Young when he merged the Freemasonic secrecy, because their drama play is about a murder mystery and the secrets behind the search for the missing dead person, Hiram Abiff. And that's why they tell you not to reveal what goes on, is it's part of the drama play. You're in on it, you're involved in it, and so all of the Masons get to play a part recreating that story that was said to be back in the days of Solomon, which is not really in the days of Solomon, because the Freemason organization didn't begin until 1600s. And so, but that's their story. And so Brigham Young put that in there, and he instead abused that by saying, you can't tell, and if you tell, you have to kill yourself. If you violate the covenants, you have to kill yourself. If you go against me, you have to kill yourself. So yeah, Brigham Young was an authoritarian, and it's obvious from his temple version that he created. And so no, there is natural protections because it's in the church and you're not allowed to record it, but even though the church has a right to protect it as copyright, Joseph Smith's intention was to take the information from the temple, and this was before the creation drama plays were added, because you were now endowed with power from on high to go and tell it to the world. That was Joseph Smith's intention, and so that was the intention of the original Egyptian temple, and so it's everywhere. And there are tombs, pyramids, temples, other stone features, buildings, statues. And so yeah, all of Egypt had it public domain, and all the knowledge was available for everybody freely. But the church wants to violate their own conditions, claiming that they're a restoration of the ancient church by keeping their temple information secret. And we're not supposed to have the names, signs, and tokens anyway. But everybody knows them. And so now corrupt heathens can now get into the celestial kingdom, and God, Heavenly Father's plan of salvation is now utterly ruined because people are able to sneak into heaven. Oh no, God has a fail. Where's the fail-safe? why is it so restrictive not to reveal the name, signs, and tokens of the temple? And you guys can't argue in defense that way. You can't create an argument where there is none that exists from the church. And that's what apologists don't get. That's their whole purpose. The church doesn't have an excuse, so we're going to make one for them. No, that's unsound. You can't be the ones to declare the church's mind and will. And so when people say, we believe that, no, you don't. You can't speak for other people. You can't say, well, Nelson thinks that this is what... Well, no, you can't say what Nelson thinks unless you have an actual printed declaration from Nelson stating what he thinks. You can't tell us what other people think. That's unsound. And so it's hilarious when people even argue for defending the church by attacking me, how I seem, how I sound like. That's unsound, because you don't know me. You can't speak for me. And so you're making false accusations. And that is an unsound argument, and you lose. So, okay, that's the introduction this morning. In every bowl of soup yeah, I've got to do comment replies, and then I need to do a tally to see if I can fix the problem, if there was one, or if I can confirm that yes, people are redacting their thumbs down. So we'll find out. In successive videos here. So I still have to have breakfast and get ready for the day. I went to bed after 2 and then woke up at 6:30ish. So 4 hours. So I'm expecting to collapse sometime this day to make up for the sleep lost. But yeah, Saturday Night Live. Interesting, their cold open wasn't as good as the other one about Putin. So again, SNL makes it publicly available on their channel for all of you to view freely. And so it's in the public domain. And it's on TV anyway, which is also public domain. You don't need to buy Xfinity or anything like that. You just need a digital reception to pick it up. But they don't want you to have a recorder device so that you can obtain your own copy. That's why they went to digital. That's why they pressured Congress to change to digital. It's because they don't want people to have free stuff. They want people to pay. They can't do that. TV is public domain. The specialty channels are not public domain. You have to pay for the HBO and Showtime stuff. But once you do, you should be able to have your own copy, because you paid for it. Just like paying for a DVD. So, yeah, everybody's trying to screw us over, and it's all for the purpose of greed. They all want money. So, all right. Was I trying to get to a point as I got distracted with another topic? So yeah, I'll start working on this and get to my day and see what we can accomplish.